The late afternoon sun filtered through the oak trees at Willowbrook Park, scattering soft shadows across the playground. Children's laughter filled the warm spring air, but not every child's voice joined the chorus. On a worn wooden bench sat Ava Reynolds, 34 years old, dressed in her work blazer over jeans, her phone tucked into her bag for once. She wasn't here for emails or deadlines. She was here for her daughter. Her 7-year-old girl, Lily, swung back and forth silently, her long brown hair lifting like a veil in the breeze. 18 months had passed since the accident. 18 months since the car crash that had stolen Lily's father and, just as devastating, stolen Lily's voice. The doctors had been clear. There was nothing wrong with her physically. Her vocal cords worked. Her lungs were strong. Her hearing was fine. But emotionally, her voice had locked itself away. Ava had tried everything. Speech therapy, child psychologists, music therapy, even trips to so-called miracle specialists in other cities. Nothing broke the silence. Lily communicated with nods, drawings, and those impossibly expressive eyes that looked far too old for a child her age. And still, every day after work, Ava brought her to Willowbrook Park, hoping the sound of other children's joy might coax Lily back into the world. But today was like all the others. Lily glided on the swing present, but wrapped in a bubble of silence. Ava's chest tightened. She feared this bubble would harden forever. Then, out of the corner of her eye, Ava noticed someone approaching. He was tall, broad-shouldered, early 30s, with skin dark and smooth, his beard neatly trimmed. His t-shirt and jeans were simple, but the way he carried himself relaxed, confident, at home in his own skin drew notice. At his side skipped a little girl with braids tied up in bright beads. She looked about Lily's age, her smile wide and infectious. The man gave a nod toward Ava before crouching down beside the swing set. His voice was warm, rich, steady. "Hey there," he said gently, speaking directly to Lily. "I'm Malik, and this is my daughter, Amara. Would you mind if she used the swing next to you?" Lily looked up with those cautious eyes, then over at Amara. She gave a small, polite nod, before returning to her slow arc in silence. Amara hopped onto the empty swing with all the energy in the world. "I love swings," she announced, pumping her legs. "They make me feel like I'm flying. Do you like to fly too?" To Ava's shock, Lily's lips curved into the faintest smile, the first she had seen in weeks. Malik smiled knowingly, as if he'd caught it too. He pushed Amara gently, then glanced back at Lily. "That's a beautiful dress you're wearing," he said conversationally. "Pink's my favorite color too. Amara says it's her lucky color." Amara giggled. "Even though I'm wearing purple today." Ava leaned forward, struck. Malik wasn't treating Lily's silence like a problem to be solved. He wasn't filling the air with awkward reassurances or heavy questions. He spoke to her like silence was perfectly natural, like she was fine, exactly as she was. It was something no therapist, no specialist had managed. "Daddy," Amara called, swinging higher. "Teach her the secret trick." Malik chuckled. "You think she's ready?" Amara nodded vigorously. "Yes." Malik crouched lower so both girls could see him. "Okay, the secret to swinging isn't just your legs. You've got to believe you're flying through clouds. And when you fly through clouds, you make the sound clouds make." Amara laughed. "Show her." Malik took a deep breath, exaggerated and playful. Then he started making soft whooshing sounds as he pumped his legs. Whoosh, whoosh. Amara instantly joined in. "Whoosh! I'm flying through rainbow clouds!" Lily watched. fascinated. Ava could see the war inside her, the yearning to join in, colliding with the fear of breaking her silence. The best part, Malik continued, his voice calm and steady, is everyone makes their own cloud sound. Some people whoosh, some hum, some whisper. There's no wrong way to fly. Ava's throat tightened. Lily's lips parted ever so slightly. Malik reached into his pocket and pulled out a smooth stone, weathered gray. "This here's a magic cloud stone," he said softly. "I found it by the ocean. If you hold it and make even the tiniest sound, it makes your flying stronger." He placed it gently in Lily's hand, folding her small fingers around it. "Close your eyes," he whispered. "Take a deep breath, and let the sound out. However small, however quiet, let it fly." Ava held her breath. For several moments, nothing. Only the creak of chains and Amara's gleeful whooshes. Then, so faint Ava thought she imagined it, came a whisper. Whoosh! Her hand flew to her mouth. Tears stung her eyes. Malik's face lit up with pure joy. "Perfect," he said. "That's exactly how clouds sound." Hazrubber. Lily's grip on the stone tightened. She inhaled again, stronger this time. "Whoosh!" Amara squealed. "She's flying too!" Both girls laughed now, swinging side by side, filling the air with their cloud voices. Lily's voice grew steadier, clearer, as though with every sound the silence cracked and crumbled. Then it happened. "Mama!" Lily cried out suddenly, turning toward Ava with sparkling eyes. "Mama! I'm flying through clouds! Listen!" Ava's vision blurred with tears. She rushed to the swing, dropping to her knees. "I hear you, sweetheart, I hear you. You sound beautiful." Lily giggled, her voice free and alive, as Amara whooshed beside her. Malik rose slowly, stepping back to give them space. But when Ava lifted her gaze toward him, her gratitude was overwhelming. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You just gave me back my daughter." Malik shook his head gently. "I didn't do anything special. She was ready. She just needed someone to show her it was safe." Ava blinked through her tears, clutching Lily close, as the warm spring air carried the sound of her daughter's laughter into the trees. For days afterward, Ava could hardly think about anything except that moment at the swings. Lily's voice, fragile, breathy, but real, still echoed in her ears. She replayed it over and over, as if clinging to proof that it hadn't been some fleeting dream. Lily had spoken, and it was because of a stranger. The following week, Ava took Lily back to Willowbrook Park at the same time. She wasn't sure if Malik and his daughter would be there again, but a quiet hope tugged at her chest. And there they were. Amara was already climbing the jungle gym, her braids clicking with each bounce. Malik sat nearby on a low stone wall, strumming an old acoustic guitar that looked as worn as his work boots. His deep voice carried across the grass, humming a melody as smooth as honey. Lily stopped mid-step, captivated. Her eyes went wide, and without hesitation, she pulled Ava's hand and walked straight toward him. Malik looked up, surprised but smiling. "Hey there," he said. "Back for another flight through the clouds?" Lily nodded eagerly. Amara scrambled down from the jungle gym. "She has to swing next to me again. We're a team now." Ava sat on the bench, her heart swelling as the two girls ran toward the swings. Malik joined her, setting the guitar across his knees. "You play beautifully," Ava said. He shrugged modestly. "Used to play a lot more. These days, it's mostly for Amara. Helps her settle down when the world gets heavy." Ava tilted her head. "You make it sound like music is medicine." Malik's smile faded into something softer. Sometimes it is, especially when you don't have anything else. For a moment, silence stretched between them, filled only by the creak of swings and the girls' laughter. Then Ava asked the question that had been burning since last week. How did you know what to say to Lily? That stone, the cloud sounds. No therapist has ever reached her like that. Malik ran his thumb along the guitar's edge. Because I know what it's like to go quiet. She turned to him. He looked out across the playground, eyes fixed on a faraway point. When Amara's mom passed, she was 4. For almost 6 months, she wouldn't say a word. Nothing I did worked. Doctors told me to wait it out. But I couldn't just wait. So I made up games, pretend magic stones, secret sounds, little tricks to make her feel safe. Bit by bit, she came back. His voice caught slightly, but he didn't shy away from it. Sometimes, kids just need a different kind of invitation. Ava blinked rapidly, her throat tight. You did more for Lily in 5 minutes than specialists did in a year. Malik glanced at her, his gaze steady. You did the hard part. You kept showing up. Don't underestimate what that means to her. She swallowed hard, looking away. No one had ever said it like that. Most people only reminded her of what Lily still couldn't do. But Malik saw what she had done. Over the following weeks, the park became their meeting place. The girls bonded instantly, inventing elaborate games that lasted until the sun dipped behind the trees. Lily's voice grew stronger with each visit, sometimes soft, sometimes bursting out in giggles she couldn't hold back. Ava learned that Amara loved storytelling. She would spin wild tales about cloud kingdoms and rainbow dragons, while Lily chimed in with quiet details, surprising herself with her own words. And always, Malik was there, watching, listening, guiding without pushing. One Saturday, Ava brought a picnic basket. She spread a blanket under the oak tree while the girls ran barefoot in the grass. Malik sat cross-legged across from her, sipping lemonade she'd packed. This feels almost normal, Ava said quietly, watching Lily chase Amara. Normal's underrated, Malik replied with a chuckle. Do you ever wish you had help? Ava asked suddenly. With Amara, I mean. Malik's smile was faint. Every day. But wishing doesn't put dinner on the table. You just learn to carry it yourself. Ava studied him. You make it sound easy. It's not, he admitted. But when your kid looks at you like you're the whole world, you figure out how to stand tall, even when you're breaking inside. Ava's chest ached. She knew that feeling all too well. Sometimes I think Lily will never be the same, she whispered, like part of her is stuck in that accident forever. Malik leaned forward, his voice steady. Then you keep walking beside her until she finds a new path. She doesn't have to go back to who she was. She just has to know she's not alone now. Ava blinked, her eyes burning. She looked away quickly, embarrassed by the tears threatening to fall. Malik didn't press. He simply picked up his guitar and began to play a soft tune. The melody wove through the air like a balm, wrapping around her grief until it eased just enough to breathe again. One evening, as they packed up after another long day at the park, Lily tugged on Ava's sleeve. Can we see them again tomorrow? She asked, her voice light but sure. Ava froze. Every word Lily spoke still felt like a miracle. She looked at Malik, who was folding the blanket, and smiled. I think we'd like that, Ava said. That night, after tucking Lily into bed, Ava sat alone on the sofa. For the first time in months, the house didn't feel crushingly silent. Lily's voice lingered in the air, bright and fragile, and the thought of Malik lingered too, His steady presence, his unshakable patience, the way he spoke to her daughter as if she were already whole. It frightened her, how much comfort she'd found in him. She wasn't ready for anything more. Was she? But as she closed her eyes, she realized something undeniable. For the first time since the accident, hope had found its way back into her home. And it had come in the form of a single father with a quiet guitar and a little girl with braids and beads. The first time Ava invited Malik and Amara to her home, she wasn't sure what to expect. It was a Saturday evening. The late sun painted the windows in gold as Ava fussed with the table settings. She told herself it wasn't a date, it was just dinner, a simple thank you for everything Malik had done for Lily. But her nerves betrayed her. She checked the rose twice, rearranged the flowers in the vase 3 times, and even changed her blouse moments before the doorbell rang. When she opened the door, Malik stood there with Amara at his side. He dressed simply dark jeans and a crisp shirt, but Ava noticed the way it suited him. His presence filled the doorway in a way that made her breath hitch. "Smells good in here," he said, his warm smile easing her nerves. Amara rushed past him with a grin. "Where's Lily?" "Upstairs," Ava said, laughing. "She'll be right down." Within minutes, the house was alive with the sound of children's footsteps, giggles, and the chatter of 2 girls comparing their favorite colors and games. Ava found herself lingering in the kitchen with Malik, carving the roast while he poured lemonade. "You didn't have to do all this," Malik said. "It's just dinner," Ava replied, though the heat in her cheeks betrayed her. "It's more than dinner," he said quietly. "It's letting someone in." She froze for a second, knife hovering over the cutting board. His words landed heavier than he realized. Dinner was chaos in the best way. Lily laughed at one of Amara's silly jokes, and Ava nearly teared up watching her daughter's shoulders shake with joy. Malik told a story about fixing a leaky pipe at 3 in the morning with nothing but duct tape and stubbornness, which had both girls wide-eyed with awe. After dessert, the girls retreated to the living room with coloring books. Ava and Malik lingered at the table, the low hum of their daughters' voices carrying from the next room. "Jalen's not here tonight?" Ava asked, remembering Malik's son. "He's with his aunt," Malik said. "I try to split time so Amara doesn't always feel like the little shadow." "You're a good dad," Ava said softly. He met her eyes. "You're a good mom." Something unspoken passed between them. Neither looked away. Later, when Malik gathered Amara's things, Lily clung to her new friend's hand. "Can she stay longer?" "Another time," Malik promised gently. Ava walked them to the door. She hesitated, then said, "Would you maybe like to come again next week?" His smile was small but sure. "I'd like that." Their visits became a pattern. Some nights at the park, some nights at Ava's, occasionally at Malik's small but cozy apartment where Amara proudly showed off her collection of seashells and Lily carefully lined up her drawings on the coffee table. The girls became inseparable. They built elaborate forts out of couch cushions, invented dance routines, and declared themselves Cloud Sisters. But for Ava, letting Malik in was more complicated. One evening, as they watched the girls play on the porch, Ava found herself saying, "Sometimes I'm terrified. What if Lily only speaks when Amara's around? What if she goes silent again?" Malik leaned back in his chair, considering. "Then you'll keep walking with her until she finds another voice. It's not about fixing her. It's about reminding her she's not broken." Ava swallowed hard, his words unraveling something inside her. But just as trust grew, so did fear. One night, after Malik and Amara left, Ava's sister called. "You're letting this man into Lily's life?" her sister asked, her tone sharp. "You don't even know him, Ava. He's a janitor. raising 2 kids on his own. What do you think people will say? Ava's chest tightened. I don't care what people say. You should, her sister pressed. What if he leaves? What if Lily gets attached and loses him too? She's fragile. She's fragile. The words clawed at Ava long after the call ended. She sat in Lily's room, watching her daughter sleep peacefully, clutching the smooth gray stone Malik had given her. Fragile, broken, damaged. Those were the words people always used about Lily. Ava had fought against them, but the fear was still there. And now, another fear crept in. What if she was letting herself hope too much? The next weekend, Malik noticed the distance in her eyes. Something's on your mind, he said as they packed up after a park visit. Ava shook her head. It's nothing. He studied her. Don't do that. Do what? Pretend it's nothing when it's tearing you up. Her eyes filled despite her effort to stay strong. I don't know if I can do this. Letting someone in again. What if Lily depends on you, and then you're gone? Malik's voice was steady, but low. I know what it's like to lose someone. I wouldn't walk into her life unless I planned to stay. Ava looked away, wiping her eyes. You can't promise that. No, he admitted. But I can promise I'll show up every day. That's what fathers do. That's what men should do. For a long moment, Ava said nothing. Then Lily's laughter rang across the playground, Amara chasing her in circles, and the sound broke through Ava's fear like sunlight through storm clouds. She turned back to Malik. Maybe I just don't remember what it feels like to trust. He nodded gently. Then let me remind you. That night, Ava found herself watching Lily fall asleep, the smooth stone still tucked under her pillow. For the first time in a long while, Ava realized her daughter wasn't just surviving anymore. She was living. And maybe so was Ava. The evening air was cool, filled with a faint hum of cicadas, when Malik and Amara arrived at Ava's house one Friday night. Ava had invited them for a simple dinner, but everyone knew it was more than that. The girls ran upstairs immediately, their voices echoing through the hallway as if the house had always belonged to both of them. Ava lingered in the kitchen, stirring a pot of soup, when Malik stepped in. He leaned against the doorway, his presence filling the space. Smells amazing, he said. Just chicken noodle, Ava replied, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Comfort food. Sometimes that's exactly what you need. She looked up at him then, really looked, and saw the tired strength in his eyes. He carried so much, yet still had enough to give. Later, after dinner, the 4 of them sat in the living room. Amara and Lily sprawled on the rug with crayons, creating entire worlds on paper. Malik picked up his old guitar and tuned it softly. Play the Cloud song, Amara requested. He smiled, strumming the familiar chords. Only if Lily sings with us. Lily froze, her crayon suspended above the page. Ava's heart tightened. Asking too much could send her retreating again. But Malik's tone was easy, patient, never demanding. Remember, he said gently, clouds don't have to sound the same. You can make your own. For a long moment, Lily hesitated. Then she took the gray stone from her pocket. She carried it everywhere now, and closed her eyes. When she opened her mouth, a soft, tentative hum slipped out. Not words, just a note, fragile but steady. Amara joined instantly, harmonizing with childish joy. Malik deepened the melody with his guitar, and soon the room was full of a sound Ava hadn't heard in years, her daughter's voice mingling with laughter and music. Ava pressed a hand to her mouth, tears spilling over. You hear that? Malik whispered to her between chords. Ava nodded, unable to speak. She's not afraid anymore. When the girls finally drifted to sleep on the couch, Surrounded by crayons and paper castles, Ava covered them with a blanket. Malik set the guitar aside. For a while, they simply sat in the quiet, watching the steady rhythm of their children's breathing. Then Malik spoke. "I haven't told you everything." Ava turned to him. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, his voice low. "When Amara's mom died, I thought I'd never be enough. I worked double shifts, left her with neighbors, told myself survival was all I could give her. But one night, I came home and she was sitting by the door, waiting in silence, wouldn't even look at me. That's when I realized I wasn't just keeping her fed. I was supposed to keep her whole." His hands tightened together. "I failed more times than I want to admit, but she gave me another chance, and I swore I'd never waste it." Ava reached over, placing her hand gently over his. "You didn't fail. You loved her. That's what kept her whole." Their eyes met, and for a moment, the walls Ava had built around her heart crumbled. "I'm scared," she admitted, "of needing someone again, of letting Lily need someone again." Malik's gaze was steady, his voice like an anchor. "Then let's be scared together. That way neither of us has to carry it alone." The weeks that followed felt different, brighter. The park visits turned into family picnics. Lily began speaking more short sentences at first, then little bursts of conversation with Amara that left Ava stunned with joy. One Saturday, the girls insisted on putting on a cloud concert in the park. Malik played guitar while they sang their whooshing, humming songs, drawing a small crowd of parents and children. Ava watched, laughing and crying all at once, her heart full in a way she hadn't thought possible again. It was on a quiet Sunday evening, under the oak tree in Ava's backyard, that Malik finally asked a question. "Ava," he said, his hand brushing hers, "what if we stop pretending this is temporary?" She looked at him, breath catching. "What if we let them grow up like sisters?" He continued softly. "What if we gave them us?" Ava's throat tightened. She saw Lily in the grass, holding Amara's hand as they twirled in the fading light. She saw Malik steady, patient, a man who carried his scars openly but never let them harden him. And she saw herself not broken, not alone, but part of something alive again. Tears welled in her eyes. "I don't know if I'm ready." Malik squeezed her hand gently. "Then we'll take it one day at a time, together." Months later, the difference was undeniable. Lily was speaking regularly now, not always loudly, but enough to fill the house with the music Ava had feared she'd never hear again. Amara was like a second daughter, her laughter echoing down the hallways. And Malik? He was no longer just the man who'd once walked into their lives at a park. He was home. One night, as they tucked the girls into bed after a day of flying kites, Lily whispered, "Mama, I love when Malik sings. It makes me feel safe." Ava's heart swelled. She glanced at Malik, who met her gaze with quiet certainty. Safe, that was what he had given them. A year later, Willowbrook Park looked the same, but everything was different. Two little girls ran side by side across the grass, their voices strong and full. A man with a guitar strummed under the oak tree, and on the bench sat a woman who no longer feared silence, because silence was no longer their story. Their story was laughter. Their story was song. Their story was family. And it all began the day a single black father told a little girl she could fly through the clouds.